Thank you to our sponsor, JamesAllen.com. JamesAllen.com is the online destination for designing and customizing engagement rings she'll want forever. Look, there's no bigger thing that you do in your life than propose. That's a big decision. And when you do it, you want to do it right. You want to do it with James Allen, because they'll make a custom-made engagement ring. None of these store-bought, off-the-rack bloody engagement rings. Love more easily than you ever thought possible, and save up to 50% compared to traditional stores. Get 25% off your order when you go to JamesAllen.com and use the code IDACAT. That's IDACAT, IDKAT, at JamesAllen.com for 25% off. JamesAllen.com. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Ever feel like your brain is getting its own way? Like, you know what you should do, what's good for you, but you just can't do it. Therapy helps you figure out what's holding you back, so you can work for yourself instead of against yourself. Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/IDK today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/IDK. Comedy, drama, action movies. What genre should Jack be in as a movie star? Well, you might find out. I don't know about that with Jefferies. I've had a wonderful. What have I done this week? I've passed the kidney stone. That was last week.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I did. Oh, my wife did one of those things this morning where she woke up and she accused me of having an affair with Gal Gadot.
Oh. Well, at least she has faith in you.
Yeah.
That's like kind of a compliment.
Yeah, you were like, holy shit.
She's like, I am? She's like, she goes, you're having sex with Gal Gadot. Like, she was still sleepy like this. And I'm like, honey, I can't get Gal Gadot. Let's be honest, if my wife's listening, if Gal Gadot tries to have sex with me, I will have an affair with Gal Gadot. But until that moment, I have not had an affair with Gal Gadot. But I've been doing some fun things. I've been, like, whenever my wife walks in the room, I act like I'm still on the phone to Gal Gadot and I'm trying to hang up. I'm like, she comes downstairs and I'm like, yeah, no, she doesn't know anything. Look, you know you're always my gal. Gadot. Well, here she comes right now.
Real quick here, you got some dates coming up. Cincinnati, Ohio, October 19th, 2023.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said 2023. October 20th, Chicago Theater, and October 21st, Chicago Theater.
We just cancelled, and I don't know if, I'm in the process of cancelling. I'm going to cancel the gig in Israel.
Yeah,
okay?
Of course.
It's just,
fair
sorry,
enough.
I just double booked.
I don't think you need to explain that one. Then you'll be in Galway, Ireland, October 25th and 26th, and then New York, November 2nd and 3rd.
So nice, they named it twice.
JimJefferies.com, go there. If you are listening to this and you're in the San Diego area, this weekend I'll be at Mic Drop, the 13th and the 14th. Please come out to the Mic Drop Comedy Club and see Forrest Shaw. I really appreciate it. And big announcement today, Jim.
Kelly's leaving the podcast.
Yeah.
Kelly's going off to live a life. It turns out that the world of podcasting doesn't pay for everything, and she can't have her days free just to dick around with us, and we completely understand, and we're going to miss Kelly very much. Kelly, you got anything you want to say?
Yeah, just thank you so much. Oh, God, I'm going to cry. Thank you so much for letting me do this. And I've had so much fun. And thanks to everybody for being nice to me. Fuck you all who were not nice to me.
We love you.
Nice.
There have been a lot of our listeners have been so fucking nice to me.
The comments have gotten nicer.
Yeah.
Well, we love you, Kelly, and we're going to miss you. And we wish you all the best in the future. And if the podcast ever becomes successful... We'll have you on as a guest.
And to our sponsors, we're very successful.
You can be an expert on this podcast.
Yeah, you can be an expert in the early episodes.
Yeah,
I really don't think I could, honestly.
Yeah, it's gonna suck. I was saying the last episode you were out of town, but I was just that you not being here. I was like, why aren't the answers populating on here? I'm like, oh fuck. I was like. But
Yeah, he looks at me and you
besides
go, and you're judging confidence. I go, fuck.
that, it's all off. We don't know what we're doing.
All you had to do was come up with a number. You're like, no.
Jack and Forrest's workload has increased. Mine has remained the same. So,
Jeff's like, it seems fine to me.
so see ya.
We'll see how long you want to keep doing this format for.
Maybe just talk.
Yeah, Forrest has already come to me with an idea. I got an idea just to mix things up. I should be the one guessing the answers.
You type.
You book the guest.
Uh,
Yeah, I've had so much fun. So thank you for letting me do this with you
Well,
guys.
it's not over yet. We have a fun podcast to do.
we got
right
some
now.
ads.
Wait, also, our
Throw to ads.
our guest from the Kinky History episode, Esme, her book is coming out soon. It's available for pre-order. It's called Kinky History. So
Oh, yeah.
you can
Esme,
check that out.
Oh, you know, I should give a shout out to is Mike. Mike, forgot your last name, but he's a fan and he gave us some Chick-fil-A free sandwiches.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A
Nice.
free sandwiches.
Yeah.
Where?
We'll give you some
Oh, he
cards.
didn't give them to me. He gave them to
What?
Forrest.
No,
Where?
I gave some to you.
No.
I have
Forrest
some for you
gave them
guys
to
too.
me.
Oh,
Forrest passed
what
them
city
on.
was this?
I met him on a plane.
He works
Any Chick-fil-A anywhere.
He works for Chick-fil-A?
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you like giving to you. Oh,
I was
There's
on
just
a plane.
vouchers for free
oh,
sandwiches.
that's sick.
I was on a plane with Dave Williamson and Luis Castillo, and we were going to Key West. And I got up, and he just was looking at me weird, and I thought I was like bouncing in my chair. So I'm like, "Oh, sorry." And he goes, "Hey, no, I saw Dave back there, big fan of the podcast." I go, "Oh, cool." And then he handed me some Chick-fil-A, like he works for them, like free sandwich cards.
I love that he
That's awesome.
carries
Yeah.
carries a bunch
But I
of
thought I was
I would.
annoying him. Turns out. Anyways, Mike, I'm sorry. I have your last name somewhere in there, but thank you very much.
Filet.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Mike
Yeah.
Filet. Thank you, Mike Filet. You're the best. All right, let's
meet our guest.
please welcome our guest, Lynn Bokei.
G'day, Lynn. Now it's time to play.
Yes, though. Yes, though. Yes, though. Yes, though. Judging a book by its cover.
All right. Is the topic? That's no. It's not Buddha. Buddha's mate. Is that the topic?
No, but you've met Lynn once.
Is he Buddha's mate?
No, it's not. Lynn actually sat in on a podcast in our old studio way back when. If that's a hint for you, if you remember that. The one near your house.
The one near my house.
Yeah, he came in there.
He came in there and he sat in
Yeah. We didn't have a lot of guests sitting in there.
just for fun.
Yeah, just because, yeah, he's my friend.
Oh, he was one of our guests.
He was not.
Oh, well then I'm not going to remember that.
Well, ask him some questions.
All right, Lynn. Oh golly. So you're friends with Forrest. I know Forrest's friends. Is it something to do with the entertainment business?
Not exactly, no.
No, not exactly the entertainment. Is it something to do with marine life?
No.
I would have argued that's the entertainment business. They're the only ones who do tricks. Is it health related?
Not physical health, no.
Is it okay? So it's mental health related.
It is mental health related. Yes.
That will throw you off, though. For
That's not
sure.
going to help you because it does help you, but I think you're going to go in a different direction.
Is it addiction?
No. I'll give you a hint now. When Lynn came in and sat in the studio, he walked in with Arnie.
Oh, he's a dog guy. He's a support animal advisor.
Arnie's not a support dog.
Yeah.
He'd be the worst
He'd be the
support dog.
worst support dog ever.
I've seen some fucking bad ones on planes. I've seen some ones that I'm like, I don't know, that one's not supporting anyone.
Okay, we're talking about dog psychology today.
Right, dog psychology.
Yes.
Right, okay. All right, that's a thing. It
is. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Okay,
Yep.
all right.
Lynn Bokei has been working with dogs since 1997, and in 2000, Lynn started his journey in dog psychology, focusing on pack work to rehabilitate dogs. In 2004, he began teaching dog trainers, helping them to understand dog psychology to improve their businesses. And in 2006, he officially opened his school of dog psychology.
Whose businesses are they improving? The dogs? The dogs run a business? Whose business?
Yeah.
That's a question mark.
The dog trainers.
Oh, the dog train. Oh, their business.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Corporate environment.
Yeah, I didn't know that there's just a dog on the side of the road selling lemonade.
Yeah, he spins
Small
that sign.
business.
He spins that sign around. Come on. You can go to Lynn's website. It's lynnbokei.com, and Bokei is spelled, everything is spelled LINNBOYKE. That's lynnbokei.com. His Instagram and YouTube are at Lynn Bokei, and his podcast is the Dog Psychology Podcast. Lynn, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what you do, like a day-to-day basis, and like what services you offer and stuff like that.
And is your house all in black and white just for dogs, or is this a coincidence?
I love the color black, and the next color that sits well with it is white. So,
well, not
that's pretty
historically.
much all I have. And that's all I know.
We're getting
black
better.
and white.
Yeah. So, tell us a little bit more about like what you do with your business and a day-to-day thing, and you know.
At this age now, and this amount of time in, I basically am a consultant to dog trainers. I travel to help dog trainers. I also I do travel to work with dog owners wherever they are in the world and do a real intensive in-home intervention like I did with Forrest and Arnie. And I do workshops, seminars, and online courses, mentoring face-to-face. So
He did work some miracles with Arnie, honestly.
Yeah.
No, that's a much better than it was.
Arnie was a seriously troubled
It's
youth.
much better than it was. I'm just amazed that you made Forrest use a toilet. Like,
right? Well, I had to have a bag. And,
colostomy.
but the thing that with Arnie is that he's great. And most dogs are great. It's the owners that we have to work with. That's where the psychological part really comes in.
Don't even get me started. Yeah.
Don't touch Forrest with two hands. You got to come. Yeah, I'm nice once you get to know me.
Don't get in there in the fur too close to his mouth.
Exactly.
I once was on a plane and Caesar, the dog whisperer, what's his name?
Caesar Milan.
Caesar Milan.
Caesar Milan.
He's actually my mentor.
Well, he was.
before he got shot.
I'm going to call him out. I think that Caesar Milan was bullshitting me, right? Because Caesar Milan's on a plane and he had a support dog. Now, does he have like 15 of those so he can travel around the country with all of his dogs, or is there one that he decides was really supportive? Because I'm all for people in this. I'm not all for people in the support animals at all.
You're very much against.
I'm very much against it. I think it's like people with celiac disease. 1 in 100 people who say they have it actually fucking have it, right? So
you heard it here, folks.
Yeah, you heard it here me first. Go shit yourself. Anyway, but with the support animal, and I love dog. I love all animals. I'm an animal lover, right? I see Caesar Milan on there with his one dog, and I'm like, come on, that cunt doesn't need support. He's telling everyone else how to get support. How can he go on a plane with a support animal with a straight face?
If you're going to complain about anybody having a dog, you'd want it to be Caesar Milan, who has a well-trained
the dog
animal.
was very well behaved.
So the only thing that sucks is when people abuse it and don't have a trained animal.
I'm just saying that I don't believe Caesar Milan has a confidence problem where he needs a dog on a plane.
You think because he's a good dog trainer, he doesn't have mental health issues?
I don't think he needs a dog.
Okay,
I think he sees dogs all day.
All right. Lynn wanted to know which dog.
Well, I'm right there with you. I don't think that support animals are really fully necessary.
It wasn't like a bulldog, but it was a bigger, sort of like, it was in the bull gene. It was like a Staffordshire Bull Terrier or a French Bulldog or something like that. Was it blue? It looked a little down. I wouldn't say it was completely blue.
But it needs psychologists for sure.
But like the.
Why do you know the dog, Lynn?
Well, if it was the blue one, it was Junior. But I'm not sure when this was that you met him on the flight.
I didn't meet him. I just walked past him with a support. He had the jacket on there. It had the jacket on there, and I was a little bit dubious. I went.
I'm not sure how he did that.
I think you have good mental health, Caesar Milan. Is that his name?
I'm not really sure how he did that, but maybe he had a special teaching the dog.
Oh, everyone! No, look. And he's also got the advantage of everyone was so excited to see him with a dog. Right, so everyone on the plane, no one was angry except for me. And everybody,
standard.
Everybody else on the plane was like, "Oh wow!" And like, you had to, like, if that dog was a complete cunt and was just pissing and biting and running around, he would have lost all credibility. Like,
true.
Like he's putting his balls on the line by taking a dog out anyway. But no, I think it's abuse of dog privilege.
All right, let's start the podcast here.
I think you might be right there.
I have a
if everybody else can do it, I should be able to.
I have a registered support camel. I literally do. I really do have a registered support camel.
In two
places.
True story.
Yeah.
On the Jim Jefferies show, we registered a camel, like under Jim's name, a support camel.
I have him.
And it's shit all over the stage.
I have a jacket. I have a jacket for him and everything, and I'm allowed to take him in shopping malls and all sorts of weird things.
Yeah.
Not on
Do you
planes.
ride him or just leave
I don't
him in?
know him. I only had him for an hour. I have no reference to where he might be dead, but I think we even gave him a different name for the purpose of the show. So. But they gave us the bloody support jacket. I think I'm allowed basically any camel as long as I've got the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if the certificate said 1 or 2 hump. That could throw me out. Then maybe I'm only allowed 50% of camels on Wednesdays.
That camel has been in a lot of television and movies.
Yeah.
But we didn't know it at the time, I guess. We rented him and the trainer brings him in.
You guess we rented him.
And we were I was standing next to Matt Kirshen, and we were like, there was like a next to a camera operator. And Matt goes, "Yeah, but you don't shoot camels that often, do you?" And he goes, "I've shot this same exact camel 5 times." I was like, this is like the Hollywood camel.
He knew what he was doing.
Not impressed. All right, so here's what we're going to do, Lynn. I'm going to ask Jim a series of questions relating to dog psychology, and then at the end of him answering these, you're going to grade him on his accuracy, 0 through 10. 10's the best. Kelly's going to grade him on confidence. I have a new category, not et cetera anymore, Jim. How funny were you?
Oh, shit.
It's gonna get.
The reason I'm doing
really
this is
hectic.
because when you know about a topic, not as funny. You're really into answering the questions right. When you don't know about it, hilarious. So when we know about the topics, I want you to be funnier. But
Yeah, wow.
It's gonna be graded. It's gonna be controversial.
Well, I think I was fun. I think I'm funny when I know about it.
You're not funny right now.
I can already see it going terribly.
Maybe it'll still be et cetera. I can already see a pushback here.
I'm going to give you all 3 the same mark.
Yeah, you should judge us too.
At the end, I'll just go, not funny, mildly funny.
I don't even have a judging category. Give me a break.
Okay, third category is
You will.
How hungry am I?
You take mine now.
0 through 10, how hungry am I? That's the next guy. That's the category. We'll change it to that.
How hungry are you?
Yeah.
We're always at an 8.
Yeah.
Forrest said something to me the other day. He just said, I've said this to... He hasn't said this to me before. We've been friends for 15 years.
I've said it before.
And I said, we were talking about Dave's Hot Chicken, and I said, we had all the chicken tenders, and we had, like, they call them sliders, but they're big burgers because their chicken tenders are pounded with hormones, right? Sure. Anyway, but they're very nice. And I said, you should have that sandwich because, otherwise the coleslaw and everything, it'll get all wet and soggy. You have that first and you have your chicken tenders later. And he said, I've told you before, I don't care for bread.
Yeah,
I'm not like you. I don't think of bread all the time.
Yeah, you're a big bread guy.
And then Amos was like, what? And he's Australian. Australians love bread. I'm not like both of you and your bread. So Forrest, don't give him bread. He doesn't like it. You'll eat it, but he doesn't like it.
I could go without it. I'm fine.
You could go, well then, why didn't you eat In and Out? Just have the lettuce wraps. The amount of calories you'll save.
I do have the lettuce wraps In and Out.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Well, go keep up the good work.
Yeah, there's other things that are creating me to be fat. All right, let's get into the questions. What is dog psychology?
It's the psychology of a dog.
Yeah.
And so it's when you get a dog. Here we go. We're just going to go for funny though. So when you get a dog, you shave their head so it has a little tiny little goatee beard like Sigmund Freud, and you make it sit there, and it just goes and you go, oh yeah. And his clinic's called Barking Mad.
Okay.
No, the psychology of a dog is you go, why is this one fucking psycho? And then you sort of hang out with it a bit, and you go, oh, that's why. And then you go, why is this one good? You don't hang out with the good people. See, that's always been the problem with like when you get cured, you get rewarded. You know what I mean? Like if you meet like an addict and they go, I was a heroin addict for years, people fucking clap. But I've never taken heroin and no one's ever clapped me for it. I just feel
I've stayed clean forever.
Yeah, I feel like I need a lot of I haven't taken heroin kudos.
I would guess that the way that society treats you is the reward. When you've been addicted to heroin,
I tell you what,
there's enough of a punishment.
I gave up nicotine and no one said shit. That's the hardest one to give up. And no one said nothing.
When you gave up alcohol, people were really proud.
they're all supportive of alcohol.
super
But they're not.
Do you brag about the nicotine one though?
I just did, and none of you stood up. I don't need that. Now.
What is the difference in training a dog for obedience or versus psychology?
Okay, so obedience is sit, roll over, act dead, all that type of stuff, and that's like you can do that to like people as well. Like you go into the army and they break you down so that you can be easily. You can follow rules and stuff like that. Yeah, face rules and that type of stuff. And then a lot of them, when the war's over, have psychology problems, and it turns out that being given orders all day didn't help that situation. So I'm just using that as a simile as to why they're
metaphor,
different.
maybe?
No, metaphors. No, metaphors saying it is something else.
It was just a comparison.
Yeah, it was a comparison.
Parallel.
Analogy,
Yeah,
maybe.
parallel. And so the psychology is like, why does this dog like this snack over this snack, but only when it gets its tummy rubbed? What's all that about?
Okay. What is a dog thinking about?
Well, from the dogs that I have had, it's fucking shoes against their will.
Against the shoes will?
Like a boot. That's what the dogs I've all owned.
They just fuck boots.
Yeah, just like I've always had little dogs, right? Yeah. And little dogs love to fuck a boot, and they're thinking about fucking a boot, cuddly toys, another thing they'll fuck. Just getting dry rooting is all they're thinking of.
Even the female dogs?
I had a female dog that used to dry root the cat.
Okay.
We had this female dog, and it was all neutered and everything, like all the it was spaded, right?
Yeah.
It means we hit it over the head with a spade. So it's just this mentally challenged dog that would go around. No. We had this female dog. And we had female cats, and the cat used to be having a sleep, and the dog would get on top and dry rub a little bit, and the cat would be like,
I like dry rub over sauce better anyway. So.
Yeah.
What are signs of a mentally healthy dog?
What's a sign of a mentally healthy dog?
Yeah.
Well, they get over relationships without sending nasty texts or anything like that. Yeah. They're just adult about things. When they get passed over at work, like they're upset like anyone else does, but they don't come in and fucking swear at everybody and shoot the place up.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. What are signs of behavioral disorders in dogs? Like what
behavioral disorder in dogs? They'd be a bit skittish, like that. That might be something that happened when they were younger or something like that. But everybody has a story of like, this dog's like this because this dog was abused. We think it was abused. But then sometimes, even with people, you meet people who weren't abused who are a bit skittish. You know what I mean? So it just could be just a straight up personality problem. Like I have 2 cats, right? And they're brother and sister, and I got them at 2 weeks old, and they've been brought up exactly the same way, and their personalities couldn't be further, and they're identical, and they couldn't be more different animals.
What are signs of an aggressive dog?
Bite marks.
On you?
Yeah, that's a real sign.
What are signs of a fearful dog?
Bite marks on them.
Okay. What are signs of a nervous dog?
Nervous
bite
dog.
Marks.
No.
He's afraid someone's going to find out where the bite marks came from.
Yeah. A nervous dog is like, I imagine if it could talk, it would sound like Woody Allen.
Yeah.
That's just what I think.
I just don't understand why. When do I get the treats? I don't understand.
These big dogs and these small dogs and whatever.
Okay. Can all dogs be rehabbed, or do some have to be put down?
You're going to say all dogs can and blah, blah, blah. But some of them need to be put down. If you're a dog that goes crazy and starts biting on a fucking little baby's face, and that happens, you know what I mean? Like attacks a child. Like there's plenty of people with scars from...
So those can't be rehabbed?
I don't... Why are we bothering?
Okay. What are the 4 F's of a dog behavior?
Fuck, fierce, furry friends.
The fuck, fierce, furry friends?
Yeah.
What are like social behaviors of dogs? Like what are things they do? Like
arse sniffing, very big in the dog community.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
It goes it never goes out of fashion. They're always up for arse sniffing.
Stands the test of time.
Drinking water is a big one. Having
I think that's like a they need that to survive.
Having it's just girls coming up and touching them.
Yeah,
that's part of their
Instagram models.
Yeah. Whether you get told not to touch the dog or not, women will come up and go. Oh,
they'll find a way.
Dogs.
I'm good with dogs.
Yeah, remember that girl who just randomly pet Rhino when we were walking in the parking garage?
That was weird.
Yeah.
How do dogs show submission?
By sitting or laying down.
How do dogs show dominance?
By showing their teeth.
What is resource guarding?
That's when you are a drug lord and you have dogs to protect your house.
Escobar.
Yeah. Like if you look, we've bought drugs before, Forrest.
Yes.
Right? Tell me the times when you've gone to like a legit, not like just like a student-y type drug dealer, but like a legit drug. Like there was one in my old house when I lived in the hills. In the hills there was a drug dealer house, and it was so drug dealery, and it had the chain link fence out the front, and just big dogs. It always had like some guy in like a Porsche showing up in a suit, just a bit sort of jittery, just buzzing on the door like, "Hey, friend," and you know what I mean, like that drug dealer house.
So that's resource guarding?
Yep.
What is good body language for a dog?
What's good body language?
Yeah, when you see a dog, you're like, oh, that dog has good body language. What's it like look like or doing?
Oh, 4 legs plus.
Plus, okay.
Yeah, that's a plus.
Yeah.
And if it looks at you with its eyes, it looks you in the eyes. You can tell a friendly dog. I can tell a friendly dog. I've never been bitten by a dog.
What about poor body language for a dog?
It's when it's just in the begging thing and it's fucking rockets out. You know, when it's
little penis?
Yeah, its little lipstick dick is fucking out.
That's bad body language?
And you're like, I don't want to pat that.
Okay. All right. Now, conversely, if you're a human, what is good and bad body language around a dog? Like, what shouldn't be
Standing on my hind legs with my penis out.
Yeah, that's bad. What's good to be doing around a dog?
Bad. Standing on my hind legs with my penis out with peanut butter on my penis.
Okay. What is the human mental age of dogs?
So they reckon a pig is smarter than a dog, and they say that a pig has the brain of a 3-year-old. And so I'm going to say a mental age of a dog is a 2.5-year-old.
Okay. How do dogs say, like, hello? What is their polite way? He'll say hello or shake hands or something like that. What's that action? Yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't do the categories, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah. Are certain breeds of dogs harder to train?
They're going to say no, but that's a lot of bullshit, man. Okay, when it comes to the dog species, I'm super racist. I feel that some dogs are superior to others.
Okay, let's hear it.
I don't want to tell you which ones are which.
Well, we can do it when we get back to the question.
There's definitely some breeds of dogs that are smarter than other breeds of dogs.
You can say it.
But you know, it's a slippery slope. You know what I mean? But there's definitely so you got some dogs are harder workers than this sounds terrible.
Do you want to wait till we're answering this?
So Bluey, like the dog from the
cartoon one.
Okay, so blue heelers, yeah. They are hard workers and they can take orders very well, and they're good for sheep cattle and stuff.
Yeah.
But they have to run all fucking day, right? Mm-hmm. Where I met a Schnauzer, which I think was historically quite a smart dog, but I feel like they've been inbred so much that this cross-eyed fucking freak was walking into bloody doors. Right? This thing was dumb as a fucking rock. It couldn't hurt itself up. Right?
Okay.
So Schnauzers come at me. And people in the Schnauzer community fucking come at me, bro.
Schnauzer community. All right, so certain breeds are harder to train, you're saying. Okay.
I would say that certain breeds are harder to train. Certain breeds are lazier than others. Certain breeds have better noses than others. Some breeds got more love to give. You know what I mean? They got more love in them. Like you go I'll tell you who's a good all rounder in the dog community, the Labrador. The Labrador can be a guide dog. It's filled with love. Obviously, it can take lots of lessons and all that type of stuff. It's happy when it sees you. The Labrador's right up there.
Okay.
But the Labrador has a tendency to be a fat fuck, right? The Labrador does not watch its weight. It has control issues out the wazoo. If you're eating an ice cream, the Labrador will just eat it right off the cone. So we're all got, but like, I consider myself to be somewhat of a Labrador mix myself. I have a lot of good qualities, but then I've got a dumb animal like, and I don't want to upset anybody. I'm like Labrador fucked a Chihuahua. I've got a bit of skittishness.
Yeah.
Like the thing.
Just
and then
yell at bigger things.
And my nose doesn't work very well, but I'm a slower animal, like a big sausage dog, a big dachshund, a long-haired dachshund. Not one of those short ones. I used to have one that just used to sit on a step all day, and that was just his step. And then it's like you just had to step over him, and that's where you chat to him each day. Hey, I bought an engagement ring.
No way.
Yeah, I did. When I got engaged.
Oh,
I bought
That's
one.
a good time for
and
that.
there was a certain type of rock. I did it. Look, I wish I knew about James Allen at the time, but I didn't. But there was a certain style and a color and a setting that my wife wanted, and I had to convince the jewelry store. They were like, "This is madness." And I said, "This is what she wants." And then all of a sudden they did it. And then when it came out, they went, "This is really beautiful, right?" Why don't you get your own engagement ring completely custom fit? We've got a thing here. You're going to save up to 50% if compared to traditional stores, and plus we're going to give you the code. You're going to save more money again. All right. I don't know how long this offer will last, but I know this, Jack.
What?
You should buy an engagement ring. Just
right now?
Have one ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have one ready to go.
All right.
So
Be prepared.
You're right. I'll have it in my earthquake kit.
what? Okay. So wait. Yeah, it'll last as long as the water and all that type of stuff. So when you have a girlfriend, she's dropping hints, right? We've had those, right? Dropping hints. Hey, stop eating so much. You're unattractive to me.
You need to marry me by October.
Yeah. If you don't get married in October, I'm going to go back to my high school sweetheart. But you have no clue how to do these things, right? You can't just keep buying yourself time, like I just distracted my wife with a set of car keys every now and again. And that lasted for about a year. But thankfully, JamesAllen.com is making buying the perfect engagement ring a whole lot easier. Go to James Allen, JamesAllen.com, the online destination for designing a custom engagement ring that she'll love more easily than you ever thought possible, and saving up to 50% to compared stores, right? And I'm saying, the big diamond.
Yeah.
All right. Choose from over 200,000 certified conflict-free. That's a big thing, conflict-free. I wish I knew about this because my wife and the conflict-free. You know what?
You should get her a new one.
Me buying a conflict-free diamond caused a lot of conflict. All right. They've got earth created and lab created. So you got the real diamonds and the lab created diamonds. Once you pick your diamond, you can see it in a magnified 360 degree. That's the
336.
360 degree, so that you'll see what the actual diamond looks like up close in a high definition on your phone or on your computer. Seriously. You could walk into a jewelry store and look at other diamonds under magnifying glass and still wouldn't get as close as you're going to get at JamesAllen.com when you look online. Then you can pick from thousands of ring settings in platinum, white gold, rose gold, yellow gold, gold, any of the colors. JamesAllen.com also offers an argument reality ring try-on, so you can see what it'll look like on your hand, and you'll already know your girlfriend's...
Oh, augment. Okay.
All right?
I heard argument, but all good. Keep going.
Your augmented reality. Yeah, it still starts arguments.
Yeah.
You already know your girlfriend's checkout that feature once and twice, right? So if she already knows, she'll start looking at it on her hand, all right? But here's what really makes it the most helpful place to shop. They offer real-time diamond consultations with non-commissioned experts who can walk you through the process, educate you on the technical stuff, and answer the questions. They'll even advise you how to pop the question if you want, right? Yes. Don't do it with a flash mob. That's my tip of the day.
Damn it.
Oh, yes. Do not.
Everything from JamesAllen.com comes with a lifetime warranty, free resizing and engraving, and hassle-free 30-day for returns. But if she says no, if she says no, James Allen has got your back. JamesAllen.com, the fastest growing online realtor of engagement rings and diamond jewelry, and they've already been part of over 200,000 engagements around the world. Is yours next? Maybe not, maybe so. But, you know what I said earlier? I said that you would save 50% off the big box stores,
Yeah, sure.
right? It doesn't stop there.
Oh.
What?
Because you get 25% off your order when you go to JamesAllen.com and use the code IDACAT, IDKAT. Use the code IDACAT at JamesAllen.com for 25% extra offline. This is the best quality, conflict-free diamond ring you can get. Go to JamesAllen.com. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. I've been back in therapy recently. I've had some personal tragedies in my life. I've had some mental unease, and therapy is helping me work through those things. I think it's an important thing that almost everyone should do. It can't hurt to talk to people. And if you've never done therapy and you're thinking about trying therapy, what have you got to lose except for maybe happiness? Do you ever feel like your brain is getting its own way? Like you know what you should do, what's good for you, but you just can't do it. Therapy helps you figure out a way what's holding you back so you can work for yourself instead of against yourself. If I've benefited from therapy, anyone else here done the therapy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I need even more.
Yeah.
Yes, we all do, I think.
Forever.
Yeah. All right, look,
But this is good because you don't have to, like we've talked about it before. Staying at your home and being able to do it is more comforting.
I find online therapy far superior
Yeah.
to going into an actual place.
Yep.
I'm not trying to knock people who go into place. That works for you. That works for you. You do what works for you. But for me, especially, being someone who's always on the road, and then being someone that works in different countries and stuff like that, I find the therapy is one of the most stable things in my life that I can rely on when I feel like things are getting out of control. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched up to a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time without any additional fee. Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/IDK today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/IDK.
All right, last question. Is it okay to have a dog off leash?
I don't believe so. I don't believe it's like this is like the great gun debate. Oh, my dog's well trained. Oh, I know what my dog does. Oh, I'm a good dog owner.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a bad dog owner. I believe, of course, there are dogs that are perfectly fine to have off leash, that are well trained animals, and within certain circles and everything like that. But like if you're at a barbecue or something like that, and everyone knows this dog, and this dog's fucking Cesar Milan's fucking dog. You know what I mean? Yes, I would say without a train. But for the greater good of society, put a leash on your fucking dog, man.
Okay. Lynn, how did Jim do on his knowledge of dog psychology? 0 through 10. 10 is the best.
I would say that he put a lot of great effort in there.
Thank you.
And I want to reward him for that. So
I appreciate that.
I'll probably give him a 5.
All right.
Good score. Good score. How do you do in confidence, Kelly?
I mean, the man knows dog breeds. Like, he analyzed all of the dog breeds perfectly. I'm giving him a 9 on confidence.
Yes.
I know.
14.
I've grown up
His
with
opinions
dogs.
are strong.
I know dogs. I've grown up with dogs. I'm good with dogs. I've never met a dog that really dislikes me. I've got a good quality with dogs. My father has such a good quality with dogs that other people in the street, when we were growing up, would bring the dogs to our house.
Yeah.
To let my dad have a look at him. My dad
Your dog has a way with animals.
My dad has a way with animals, yeah, and my dad has no veterinarian skills. Yeah, well, we've said this before. My father has wild birds fly into the house daily and sit on his shoulder.
Yeah, yeah.
Wild native animals at the same time every day. Not just come out to his
And
balcony.
you can't walk up to him and they won't do the same
No,
thing.
they won't do the same.
I've seen it happen. So.
They fly in, they sit on his shoulder, and he watches a game of the Premier League with them. And he has for these rainbow lorikeets. They're married couple. They are. They come and visit him every day.
So 5 and 9's 14. You were really funny. I mean,
Thanks.
I'm really hungry, so I'll give you a 10. So that's 24. So this is what you got.
Yeah, it's good.
That's a good grade. Yeah.
Wait, can we hear the rest of the categories? Just
That was the best one. Content dog sounds are just like. And then 0 to 10 was angry.
that's Arnie. When Luis
But you
walks
did
by.
Okay, what is dog psychology, Lynn? Jim said it's the psychology of a dog. When you shave their head, you give it a beard. Like Sigmund Freud. What's dog psychology? Why don't you tell us, please?
I'm shocked that he didn't mention the couch. But dog psychology really focuses more on the needs of who they are as a species through the instinctual side of them, the psychological, the social sides of them, and the physical sides of them. And it's more of a communication with who they are rather than teaching them something through conditioning, like sit, roll over, play dead, speak.
And you don't have to name the breed, and you don't have to say the type of person either. But would you say there's a certain breed of dog that wankers attract? Right? In the same way, there's certain, okay, I'll say it, not the F-150, but any truck bigger than that, if you're not working in fucking the construction industry, you're a fucking wanker. You're a fucking wanker. You're driving behind me in your big fucking truck. Go fuck yourself. You're a fucking loser. I don't have big views on this, right? But is that I have views on certain dogs, certain breeds and certain people. Do you have these views? You don't have to say the dog.
Well, certain people do like certain breeds.
All right, that's all we need to know. No, I got enough. All right,
I was dancing around because, I didn't want to point anybody out specifically. But
there's a certain...
When you start seeing the really big chains,
yes. Yes.
That's not healthy.
This is all I'm going to say is there's no one who ever collected chihuahuas that is into dog fights.
Mm-hmm.
That would be
That's
a fun
true.
dog fight, though.
It would last.
Chihuahuas.
It would last longer. You get more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
I don't think either dog would die.
Yeah. A lot less scary.
Why haven't we got Chihuahua dog fights? Also, Chihuahuas are snippy little fucks.
Yeah.
They'd be well up for it.
Yeah.
It's not like they're going to walk up and fucking pat each other. Just starve one for an hour. They've got a very small stomach.
Yeah, you don't even have to train them to do that. They're ready to go.
Chihuahua dog fights. Write that down, Jack. New business idea.
There he is. He's going for it.
Yeah,
Those little dogs, they're kind of like finger flesh removers. So you got to be careful with them. Those dachshunds, those Chihuahuas, when they get going, they'll just...
I saw Gabriel Iglesias refer to one Chihuahua, and so I have to say Gabriel in this statement so as to me not getting in trouble for saying it. He called it a Mexican doorbell.
That's awesome.
That's quite accurate.
how many times have you been bit, Lynn? Do you know?
I could not tell you. I have no idea.
Oh, wow.
And I've had some pretty bad bites, some severe ones.
And are these dogs that you're training, or are these like when I say like is this like day one you get bit by a dog, or how does that happen?
I think I got bit by Arnie day one.
Yeah,
but it's more about when I work with a dog, no matter what breed, no matter how aggressive or fearful they are. Some of them I don't want to be bitten. I'll make sure I don't. But I want them to be able to express how they've been living and the way they see life and the things that they have been communicating, how far off and how realistic they may be. And so if they bite me, it's not personal. It's never their fault. That's just how they've been practicing life.
But why do we give them more leeway than we do human beings?
Hey, I've got the same questions. Because recently there's a bear that killed a family and their dog, and they went out and killed the bear. But the humans went into the bear's backyard. Why aren't we doing that to people who do that to people?
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
But what was the thing I was going to say about the dog bite? No, carry on.
If you remember. Okay. What is the difference in training a dog for obedience versus psychology?
Well, obedience is all conditioning. And so you have to take a human word and teach the dog an action to go along with that. And then it's repetition. But psychology is finding out, like I said, with a dog that bites me on day one, it's how they've been living. They wouldn't normally do this because they aren't getting the outlets that they need and the other things to fulfill their mind and body. And so they have these symptoms that come out. And so my job is to go in and find out what is missing and then incorporate that into the dog's life through the human. And most of the time it's simply a structure.
Do you believe
middle and end.
Do you believe it's always how the dog's been living? Or do you think, as I said before, I have 2 cats, brought up the same, different personalities. I have children, I have nephews, I have nieces, I have this, or that. And I'm a believer that for the most part, for 80% of what you are, you just are as you come out. That's you. And then 20% is maybe conditioning. I'll shorten this up. Are there dogs that are just cunts?
It depends on your definition of cunt. But yes, there are. There's things in the genes that the poor breeding, the overbreeding, and or something got twisted while they were in the womb, and then they come out a specific way. But it is their life that determines how intense they display that quirk or kink that they've got. I'm from the same womb my brother is, and he'll take an hour and a half to eat his dinner, and I'm done in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So everybody is different, but it is how they perceive. That's probably the better way to look at it, how they've been living through perception. And of course, genes have a big issue there. And if it's a big problem, then we have to tailor the structure around that management.
Speaking of genes, what the great debate, how do dogs wear jeans? Is it the back 2 legs or it is the bottom 4 legs? Which fence are you on there?
Well, I've got a dog named Long Socks, so he pulls his socks all the way up to where the jeans would be. Yeah. I think the back end is where you find the jeans. Yeah,
I would agree.
The good jeans.
Long Socks.
Long Socks. Yeah.
We were in a dog park with Arnie. I was with Lynn, and a woman recognized Lynn because was it her dog or was it a friend's dog?
Yeah, at first I thought, here we go. I got a social media fan or something. Do you have a dog named Long Socks? And it turns out she was the owner that a colleague of mine was working with, and I saw the post, and I was like, I want that dog. And if it doesn't work out, I'll take that dog. And it didn't work out, and I took the dog, and that was pretty wild.
She was crying. She was crying tears of happiness because Lynn had the dog, and she never thought that the dog would be acting the way it was.
Right.
And she was literally in a dog park, crying. Happiness. Though.
What a cool moment.
Yeah.
Can I introduce you to my daughters? They would love to say hi.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And did her daughters behave themselves, or did she bring them up badly as well?
Well, they had the masks on, so I think she was doing an all right job.
Oh, okay, good.
No, they were sweet.
Now with Kay, so I've seen the lions from Siegfried and Roy, and they reckon that these albino tigers and lions, because of inbreeding, they become a bit psycho. With dog breeds, do you find purebreds to be more unmanageable or less intelligent, or is this just a bit of a myth these days?
There's a couple of ways to look at it. All breeds are inbred. Right. That's the only way you can have them look the same, is that they're inbred. It's just important not to inbred them with the brother and sisters, and that close of a breeding system would cause massive problems. But a lot of people think that if I get a purebred dog, I won't have any problems. But when you get a purebred dog, they're breeding them for the genes of that specific breed. So you might have more problems because now you've got that breed's instincts coming out in a daily life when it should just be on a farm or a police in a police car working. So that you can get more problems that way, but it doesn't make them smarter just because it's a purebred dog.
Two times I've gotten in the suit And
The dog suit.
Oh, you have.
I've twice I've run
bite suit.
The bite suit. Twice I've done it.
Wow.
I've done it once in Afghanistan and once with the SAS, which is like the Australian versions of Navy SEALs, in Cottesloe Beach in Perth, where they have their base. And both times,
What kind of dogs?
German Shepherds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the German Shepherds, they fucking, like, they give you a head start. And, like, and it's already tiring running in that big suit. You're running along like the Michelin Man, right? And you're like, like this. And then you just hear this thing just running. And then, boom, it bites in. But one time, through the suit, I still had punches in my arm. Like, it wouldn't get off. Like,
And does it feel like super powerful? Like
it's killing you until the owner or the instructor comes and tells it's ripping the flesh off your bones until it's told to stop.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, even after it's told to stop, it's sitting there like, fucking, I'm ready to go, cunt. Like,
those dogs are very powerful.
And
very powerful.
It's exhilarating because this thing is just running after you so much, and it's still scary.
Yeah.
And they'll go for the face, and the mask will just say, they're going for the face when they give up. Like it's something else. But so our friend Rob O'Neill, who we've spoken about before, the man who shot Bin Laden, right?
Yeah.
Rob O'Neill was telling me that when they parachute in with dogs, the dogs dig it, right? So they have the Navy SEALs have the dog strapped to their chest, right? And then they have a handle on the dog so they can throw the dog up into vents and stuff. If like a terrorist is hiding up in a vent, they just throw the dog over a wall or something like that. Just throw the dog into it, right? But he goes, as they're parachuting down, he goes, the dog's never happier than in that moment, because, like, you know how dogs like having their heads hanging out car windows? Falling to earth is as much joy as a dog can have.
That was like our paragliding expert. He goes paragliding with his dog.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that before.
Wait, I don't want to destroy your view on that, but it's most likely not the flying through the air that they're loving. It's the scent. 60% of their brain's truth, or all the information they get from life, the 60% of it is from their nose. And so when you see a dog sticking their head out, the wind is cool, but man, they're just checking everything. They can, they can tell.
It's like the Matrix.
So, Oh yeah. So
when they're falling towards Earth, is it just like every smell on Earth coming at them?
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
That would be
it's
good.
Like ecstasy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is, I was talking about it on stage, and I was like, that's what I said. I look in the mirror at Arnie. I'm like, I'll never be that happy.
Try bread, man. It's really good.
What are dogs usually thinking about? Jim said fucking shoes against their will. Is that accurate, Lynn?
It's on the top of the list. No, they actually don't think. They have no, not the thinking that we have. They react to what's in front of them, and most dogs or cats that are humping may not have had a good day of exercise, and so they need to drain some energy or relieve some frustration, and they go for it. And
so you're saying if they exercise more, they'll hump less?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They if you mentioned the cattle dogs, they're, if we put like a random number around herding sheep, if the sheep go 5 miles, the dogs went 30 miles, because they're going all the way around.
Do you watch Bluey?
So, say again?
Do you watch Bluey?
No, I haven't seen Bluey.
It's a cartoon.
It's a cartoon?
Yeah.
Kids.
So it's a cartoon for kids about dogs, but it's the most watched TV show on Earth.
Really? I've not even heard of it. I heard you mention it. I'm going to check it out.
It's on Disney Plus. It's only 8-minute episodes. If you've got any children or nephews or nieces or whatever, Bluey's a winner. It's good.
Well, there you go. And then 8 minutes is about as all the attention span.
And well, this is the thing that's come out about Bluey, is that they reckon now that Bluey is made in a pastel color palette, which is like they always say dogs see in black and white, but they can also see these colors that are in Bluey. Dogs now have started watching Bluey because it's the most colorful show they can watch.
It's like
that's pretty interesting, because there used to be old school TV were tubes, so it just didn't look like anything. But now with the pixels, they can actually see what's on the screen. My dogs react to horses and any animal that's on there. And they'll sit and watch it.
Oh, is that why when it was tubes versus? Oh, okay. Yeah, because it just seemed like there's so many videos of dogs watching TV. I was like, I don't remember my dog watching TV, but yeah.
Rhino watches Penguin. Anytime I want him to watch TV, I'll turn on Penguin Town, and he watches that religiously.
Penguin Town.
It's great.
Amazing. So I use the TV now sometimes to help dogs with reactivity because it's easy to put it on screen and take it off immediately and interrupt the flow, the reaction, and restart it. So it's a good thing to use.
What are signs of a mentally healthy dog? Jim says when they get broken up with, they don't send nasty texts.
Yeah, they're just cool about it.
They don't shoot up the place.
yeah, they're just cool about it. And if they lose a job, they just go, all right, well, if you give me a good reference. And,
Okay.
They leave calmly with all
That's
their
exactly right. Good mental health is a dog that's very social, not overexcited, more relaxed. Its composure is appealing. It's not like hey, and then or ooh.
Why
they are very. Go ahead. I apologize.
Okay, no. You're actually answering. I was about to say something stupid. Carry on.
I lost what I was saying.
We're just talking about good mental health.
I was saying my stupid thing, right? So my brother's got 2 dogs, and they're Boston Terriers, right?
Oh boy.
Yeah, Boston Terriers. They're nice, but they're the type of they get on a bit of rope and you pull it with them a bit. They love all that type of stuff, right? Nice dogs, wouldn't bite you or anything like that. But their farts, and look. If my brother's listening to the podcast, I just didn't say anything. But their farts are horrendous. They're as bad a farting animal as I've ever seen. Is that a trait of a Boston Terrier, and how do we fix it?
Well, I think it's the Boston beans that your brother's feeding the dog, but it could just be the diet for real. Some dogs just fart, and it's not necessarily a breed thing, but and they don't even know it. They'll fart and they'll chase themselves.
This is you have to leave every now and again. These 2 dogs go for it. They're big farters.
What's he feeding them?
I don't know. We don't have Boston baked beans. We have regular baked beans in Australia, but I think it's just normal canned food. I'll tell you something about my father. My father's a nice man, and animals love him, but he's always been very mean with how much food he fed them, right? So we had these 3 cats, and they were meant to get half a can a day, and my dad thought they only needed a third a can a day, and it was big cat food that was trying to make him overfeed the cats because they're trying to make their money. And he knows more about the bloody cats and how much they're meant to eat and all that stuff. Anyway, these cats would always, like, if you left food on the table for fucking 5 seconds, they'd come up and snatch it and run away with it, right? Right? If you walked away from your chicken sandwich to go get a drink out of the fucking fridge, that sandwich wasn't there no more. They'd rip into bags of bread. You just have a bag of bread there, they just rip into it. And I used to think, bloody cats, that's what they do. And now that I've got cats of my own that I feed regularly, my cats are a bit fat, right? Yeah. But it just turns out that the cats I had growing up had malnutrition. My father wasn't feeding them enough, and they had to. They were also out killing native Australian animals each day. That was also another one of their hobbies.
Cats do.
So one of the reasons why your father and yourself are good with dogs, I noticed when I was there, is that dogs follow purpose. And when you come in, you've got other things on your mind. You say, hey, dog, and then you go on your way. That's more attractive to a dog than being all cuddly with them. So when you do your thing, the dogs are more drawn to you.
I will say that.
Treat them mean and keep them keen.
No, but I honestly, of all the, like we were talking about earlier, Arnie, once he gets to know you, and you're not like a new thing to him, and he's used to being around you, and he knows how you're going to behave, he really warms up to you. But he came to you like quicker than most people, and even still this day, you don't see him a lot. When you see him, you can do whatever you can just pat him. And I'm always like a little bit weird, but I'm like, oh no, he's good with Jim. So yeah.
When he first stayed at my house, like he loved me when I came to meet him at your house, and then when he came to stay at my house for the first time, he was scared because it was the first time staying anywhere. I just put his dog bed down by the front door, and I let him be by himself, and And he was totally fine. Like, he then started coming closer and closer to me. He's like, she's not going to.
He was good with Hank right away.
He loves kids.
Yeah,
he's really good with
kids.
So
it's the cheerleader effect. And that's the more attention the boys pay the cheerleaders, the less attention the cheerleaders pay the boys. But when the boys stop paying attention, suddenly she has to tie her shoe and now all the boys are paying attention again. So, yeah, if you ignore them,
we love seeing shoes being tied. I know that much about boys.
well, you know what I'm saying, right? Yeah.
I know it's the pick up the pen theory. She had to bend over to pick up the shoe.
Yeah, she's in her cheerleader outfit.
What kind of pen is
Like,
it?
you know, it's
They
just
love
going through
purpose.
Jack's head all the times that a girl has tied a shoe in front of him, and he goes, I haven't even fucking noticed it.
Fuck, I didn't know.
He was busy fucking the shoes.
Yeah.
Jack has so little to game that most women around him wear Velcro shoes.
Well,
I don't want there to be any confusion.
I will never have to retie these. Just so you know.
Slip-ons again.
Shit.
so that signs of mentally healthy dog. Talk about that. What are signs of some behavioral disorders in dogs?
Well, there's plenty of them as well, but it depends on the situation. If they're doing compulsive things, chasing their tail or doing circles, chewing themselves, self-mutilation, rigid behavior, isolating themselves, avoidance, those are not necessarily good things. There's a whole list, but it depends on what you see in front of you. Sometimes what is a healthy dog actually, or what looks like a healthy dog, is actually an unhealthy dog, especially when they love too much. They're overexcited and they get all over. They get too much love.
I watched a dog commit suicide over the course of months, and every now and again I think about it and it makes me tear up, and it was a very emotional time. And I might have been, I don't know, 11 or 12 or something like that. My brother got this dog. He was 16. We got a Doberman. We also had a Scottish Terrier, or a Sydney Silkie as we call them in Australia, because they're in the weather, their fur goes all silvery. Anyway, so we had this little tiny dog and this big massive dog, right? And the little tiny dog was 10 years older than the big massive dog. And when the little dog came in, when it was a puppy, it was still bigger than the little dog, but it looked up to the little dog. The little dog knew all the ways around the house. It knew the lay of the land. It was the Morgan Freeman of the Shawshank Redemption to the Tim Robbins of whatever. You know what I mean? So this is what. So it took the big dog under its wing, right? And then the big dog became the big, massive Doberman Pinscher, right? Big dog. And the little dog stayed little, but the big dog followed the little dog everywhere. Whenever this thing, in fact, the little dog started to get a little bit more balls to itself. If it saw another big dog, it went up and picked the fight, knowing it had its big bodyguard hanging around with it all the time, right? It got a bit dicky about the whole thing. Anyway, the little dog got a tick. Didn't find the tick in time. Very sad. It was over Christmas. Started not walking. Couldn't get it to a vet on Christmas Day. Nothing was open. We waited till the next day, and then the dog died. So we lost this dog. So the Doberman, and that dog was a banging dog. Man, that was a good dog. And so this Doberman went into a fit of depression and just started running into the fence and just bashing its head into the fence until the head got all bloody. And the dog was always happy, never a problem, well-trained dog, and stuff. And then it just started digging up and eating rocks solely. And then this stuffed up its body system so much that it started getting like cysts all over its snout, and its eyes started to puff over and all that type of stuff because it wasn't digesting this rock and it was throwing its whole system in. So my dad took it to the vet, $500 or something in that, you know, to take the rock out of the stomach, a proper surgery because it couldn't pass the rock. Did it again, another $500, and then I just remember being a little kid just trying to find every rock. I'm not going to let the dog have another rock, and just every single rock I was trying to put it in a bag, because if this dog ate one more rock, I know what my dad's next words were: we're putting it down, right? And so I just didn't want this to happen. I remember holding this lumpy-headed dog. Please don't eat any more rocks. We just lost the dog. And then the fucking dog bloody dug up a rock and ate another rock, and that was the end of it. And that's my fun. Put me down for more comedy points.
-1.
That was really funny.
Put it down for more comedy points.
That's a really good example, though, for dog psychology versus dog training.
Yeah.
The dog trainer is not going to be able to change that. That's all psychological right there.
That dog went into a fit of depression.
Have you heard of that? Dogs eating rocks before?
Yep.
Pica, they'll just eat anything, but rocks, sometimes that's all they have access to, and it's their preferred choice, so they'll go for it. They'll break their teeth off and swallow them, but that's a massive psychological issue, and he didn't get the opportunity to I don't know what you did for exercise and everything back then, but when a dog has that moment where they're going through their grieving process, it's so important to just take them on and go do things as if it didn't happen. And they'll let go of it really fast. But if everybody in the home is really sad and holds on to the loss of the other dog for a great deal of time, then it's transplanted to what's this dog doing? It's the same similar the emotions. And so the dog never had an opportunity to get out of that, and he stayed in it, and that became his new thing in life.
My father walked the dog every day, and my brother walked the dog a fair amount and that type of stuff. And I bet it would have sensed the sadness, because we were really bummed. We were really. I still think of that little dog. I think of the big dog as well, but that little dog I had for a long time, and the big dog, man, it was bloody sad. It was. Fuck, it was sad.
What are signs?
It's a human holding on to things like that for so long. The dog can't let go of it either. Yeah. And that's a bummer.
My father has a dog from his childhood, and if you bring up this dog's name or you talk
Don't
about
tell that story. You've already told
Don't
me.
tell
I know
that
the
one.
story. You've told too many sad stories already.
If you want to make an 83-year-old man cry,
I wanna hear it.
fucking
Yeah.
hell.
Make 3 other grown adults cry if you tell that story.
Maybe at the end of it.
The dog was standing on the roof.
Don't you dare!
How uncomfortable they're all getting and scratching and moving around now about the story. I have to hear it.
Oh, it's a sad story.
I'll leave the room.
Lynn's got to hear it, he said.
All right, so he had a dog, and he used to.
No!
This is going up in the outback, man.
This is going to be like
Don't tell
this
it.
is going to be like the podcast we did on hemorrhoids when people were tuning out.
This
This is my last episode.
Do it later. Do it later.
This is Kelly's last episode, and this is how we're going to put Kelly down at the end of the show. Because she's in too much pain. It's for the best, boys.
She's eating rocks.
We're going to take her to a farm. She's going to a
But he
farm.
grew up in rural Australia. This dog used to follow him to school each day. Oh, I've got so many sad animal stories. Have you ever heard of
great.
Just do this and let's move on. We got questions.
And then
Maybe just get a diary
he
or
used to
something.
stand on the back of the ute, which is like an Australian pickup truck, but it's a smaller thing. See, not like a big fucking truck. You don't need a big truck. Anyway, so the dog would stand on the roof, and me granddad Colin, who was driving along and didn't know the dog, thought the dog was in the back of the truck, and had to brake for something else, and the dog flew over the top of the car, and then they drove over the top of the car, the dog. And that was all.
Not traumatic at all.
I'll tell you another one. This one will get you.
No.
This one will
We're
get
moving
you.
on. We have a lot of questions.
Won't have a dry eye in the house.
See if we have time at the end.
My brother had a cat.
Okay, what are signs?
No!
What are signs of behavioral disorders? You said you already answered that, right? You said
Yeah.
could be, yeah.
The cat followed him to school every day.
What are signs?
Stop.
No. We're talking about dogs today. Save it for the cats episode. What are signs of an aggressive dog or a fearful dog or a nervous dog? Jim said bite marks on you for aggressive, bite marks on them for fearful, and so on.
Yeah.
Well, it has a whole thing to look at. Are they an aggressive dog, or are they being aggressive at this moment? But when they're going to react in an aggressive way, you're going to see a lot of stiff, rigid movements, slow and calculated, and they're going to be very high up on their tippy toes. Nervous dog will be down low, maybe even come up. But both fearful and aggressive dogs behave in aggressive fashion. I would just call the fearful one more defensive in its aggression. And you will see that because they're trying not to have an aggressive moment, and they're trying to avoid, but then the thing keeps coming at them. A human, I love dogs, dogs love me, and then it bites. So if they're saying no means no in the human world too. So if the dog is saying, I don't want that, we should allow them to have that moment where we leave them alone and just look at them from afar. But if you got an aggressive dog, it'll be very clear to you that it's aggressive. You'll see that high, rigid movement and looking at you and with intent.
Yeah.
When a dog jumps up on you, the two paws jumps up. Is that I love you or I want something from you? Which can be it's a very grey area.
It's a what, Lynn? Sorry.
They want to control. They want to claim it. If it's something that they just do because they've been allowed to do it and rewarded for it, they don't necessarily think about controlling you. That's just a habit. We give them affection when they jump. And so the dog says, oh, this works. But generally, when the dog climbs up on, they're claiming it in some way. The
little dog that died was like this trained animal that just I don't remember training. My dad did stuff with it, but it was like stop, go, walk. They would do anything you want. But then at dinner time, this thing would just get into the beg position, perfect, just sitting on its hind legs, and it'd be wobbling. It would sit there until it got food. It wouldn't care if its spine was about to break. And like you had to give it food eventually because it's doing its trick for a long time. Yeah. You could also like put like at one stage you could put like food on its nose and wait, go. Like that, right? Like it was that fucking, it was the most obedient animal you've ever seen. Unbelievable. It had a whistle where you went, if you did that noise, like that, anywhere it was on the house, you just hear it just through the little cat door, and it would run to you. If you heard that whistle within any range, oh fuck, it was a good dog. Banging dog, that one.
Yeah.
that little dog that died with the tick?
The tick dog, yep. And where we grew up in Australia, Kringo National Park is like the epicenter of ticks. This is like, you got to check, like I've had ticks on my body, like, there are ticks everywhere.
Yeah.
Pain in the neck.
Nasty. Ticks are nasty.
Can all dogs be rehabbed, or do some have to be put down? Jim says if a dog attacks a child, they should be put down. He knows what your answer is going to be.
No, I agree. If it's a full-on attack on a child, they should not be on the earth, but a lot of dogs are defending themselves through the perception that the child is attacking them. They've given them plenty. I'll show you video after video where the dog is giving signals, stop that child. And they'll look at the parents. Are you going to stop this child? No. Okay. And so they do their thing. It's not an attack. It's with their mouth because they don't have hands.
Just so we're clear, you're saying the children are asking for it?
Yes.
Well, yes, absolutely. It's not the children's fault, though.
Yeah,
it's the parents'
There
fault.
are so many owners that don't teach their kids anything about dog safety, and that's like been my biggest gripe since getting a dog, is like going to my nephew's baseball games and little kids are just running up and grabbing his tail and stuff like that, and the parents say nothing.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, what the fuck is going, like it's so important, like, and especially because kids can only understand what they know in their own experience. So if they have a dog that can tolerate those things, they think that's every dog. It's so irresponsible to not teach your children dog safety.
It is very irresponsible. But if we're looking at an attack or a bite, for me, I really need the context, and I need to see if the dog is aggressive. If it is an aggressive dog that attacks children, it can be managed, but I don't know that I would want to take so much risk with using children as bait. But there are the majority of dogs that bite children are not fully aggressive and can absolutely learn that, okay, I have to tolerate this, and hopefully somebody will come and get this thing off of me really soon and or leave the area. They just need to understand that there's another choice. Because the videos that I have seen, the dogs have given them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different signals saying if it were a puppy or another dog, those puppies and dogs would have left. But this puppy, human puppy, isn't leaving, so they have to do something.
But I had a relative who had a bit lip from a dog, and the dog jumped over the next door neighbour's house while he was a toddler playing in his own backyard. So this dog shouldn't have been in his yard, right?
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all.
So this is what I'm saying with the leashes and all that type of stuff. There's a little bit of giving, like to say that we should teach children dog safety. There are situations where you're just like, well, why is your dog not on a fucking leash?
Sure,
right?
yeah.
No, of course,
It's both. Yeah. There's like
100%. If a dog jumps over a fence next door and comes into my yard like that, it may not make it to the other yard again.
Right.
Because that's not going to happen. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying too. It's like, I had Arnie at the theater in Anaheim this weekend, and I kept him in the dressing room, and people that came in the dressing room, like I knew he's gonna rack well with Jack and stuff. I'm walking him out to walk him in between shows, and there's a security guard there. He doesn't even say, "Can I pet your dog?" or anything. It's just because Arnie's so small and cute. He just dips down and goes and almost grabs him by the nape of the neck, and Arnie goes, "Kah!" and he goes, "Oh, he's not a nice dog." I go, Dude, you just grabbed him.
You're lunging over him like you're a strange person.
He didn't even ask
so
me.
frustrating.
It's the Inspector Clouseau scene.
He didn't even ask. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah.
Imagine you're sitting at a cafe or coming out of an elevator and somebody walks by you and grabs your cock, and says, "Hi, how are you? Humans love me, so I can do this." It's unacceptable, but
What do they look like?
force it on dogs.
Yeah, I'd probably talk to you for a while, and eventually you'd end up with your own house.
What are some of the signs that the dogs are giving that they're like, get away from me? I assume
Well,
growling's
they're
one of them.
subtle, but they're also very loud. If you look at them, they're trying to go. They're doing their best to look away, which means I'm going to walk that way if I can, but somebody's holding me on a leash or they're blocking me. I can't go anywhere. They'll do this. That doesn't mean they're growling to hurt anybody or showing their teeth to hurt anybody, but it is a signal saying, "Hey, you need to pay attention. You're stepping over the bound here." That they'll even just stare at you. Those are very subtle signals, but they're huge, and the parents need to see these things. Just any parent needs to make sure that they have permission from the owner.
What is the
Somebody just
best
reaching
way
down.
to approach any dog?
Say again?
What's the best way to approach a dog?
If you're going to actually approach them, just walk over by them and don't look at them. Don't try to touch them. 60% of the truth that they gather comes from their nose. And if you don't even allow them to smell you first, and I don't mean put your hand out so they can smell it, it has to be something they want to do. People put their hand out all the time and it gets bit. Here, smell me. But they get bit. The idea is just to pretend the dog isn't there, and it will come up to you. It'll most likely try to come around you, so get a smell. But most people think, "Oh, now I can kiss the dog." No, he's just started to process who you are as a being, and then it has to decide whether it wants to be touched by you. Some dogs will say, "Oh," and they'll turn their body and go for it. Others will just walk away. That's fine too. That's their choice. But you want to let them investigate who you are through the nose.
Some dogs.
They're already reacting through the eyes. Then you need to really not look at them. Eye contact is an invitation or confrontation, perceived wise. So
Are some dogs just too bloody big?
big.
Yeah.
I think there's some dogs that are really big. They're very hard to adopt out.
Lachlan
'cause they're so
Patterson has
big.
2 dogs that are the biggest fucking
Irish Wolfhound?
They've got to be 250 pounds.
Oh, damn.
These are massive. They get
Caucasian.
bone and they eat the bone.
What do they look like?
They're like big wolf things.
Probably an Irish Wolfhound.
They're not like a big pointer. Like I know those other big Irish settled dogs or whatever like that. This is just these big. Google Lachlan Patterson's dogs. No. They're miles bigger than those fucking things. These are big, bloody.
So
they
that-
take
is
up.
that- is that your question, though? Can dogs be too big?
Well, they take up a whole sofa. It's a bit silly. He's got 2 of them as well. Where does him and his
Is this a real question, or are you just throwing it out there?
Yeah, a bit of a real question.
He's also very tall, isn't he?
Lynn,
He's
do you
also
have
He
very
needs-
tall.
he
do
needs
you have an
big
opinion,
dogs.
Lynn?
Yeah.
I don't really want
What
huge
size?
dogs.
What size do you like?
I like medium. Like my dog Ace. He's part German Shepherd, part Staffordshire Terrier and Husky, but he's on the bigger side. That's about as big as I want, because I have 5 dogs. If I had 5 huge dogs, then where are they going to be? I don't know how people do that. The Great Danes, they'll have 3 or 4 Great Danes in an apartment. I don't get it.
Oh, I don't even get people who like blue heelers, dogs that need to exercise that fucking much. Like what are you doing with your life? Because like every now and again you might be sick and laid up for a week, and this thing needs to run every bloody day.
Yeah.
Every day. Every day.
What are the 4 F's of dog behavior? Is it fuck fierce furry friends?
Well, it can be, but I believe that it's flight or freeze, flight, fight, and fawn. That's really more of the core when they get into the animal side. When you see a dog in flight, they're not running. They don't know anything else exists, and they're not trying to do anything. It's just they're gone. That's the base part of F. Freeze. Go ahead.
Okay, my wife doesn't believe that any animal should ever be in a zoo, ever. I have different opinions on things like than that. I believe that the zoos help with conservation and stuff like that. My wife doesn't believe that animals should be trained in any particular way. Okay, so what I'm saying is, when you see a greyhound race, do you think that is cruelty? Or when you see the crups where they're all like running around with the shaved dogs and they're best in show type of things, is that, do the dogs dig these things?
It's all in, my opinion, is all in how they're trained to do it and how they live. And so if it's a zoo, a lot of zoos are horrible conditions where polar bears should be, you know, and
100%. No, but the zoos.
So
always,
same thing with
the zoos get the bad rap because we call McDonald's a restaurant. You know what I mean? And there's good restaurants and bad restaurants and everything in between, right? So obviously there's shitty roadside zoos, and then there's the big proper good.
Yeah, but
zoo.
you asked about greyhounds. He was answering.
Sorry, greyhound. So do they enjoy chasing a fake rabbit?
It's more instinctual when they go for it, and the human is capitalizing on that. And a lot of greyhounds, when they're retired, they shut down because they don't have, all they do is sit in a box until it's time to run. And so that's cruelty, I believe. But when they're out there running for that 30 seconds, however long they run around the track for, in that moment, it's probably freedom for them at the highest level. But they don't race 3-4 times every single day. So you can imagine the stockpile of dogs. So yeah, that would be cruelty to me.
When I was in Afghanistan, I was living in London at the time in a 1-bedroom apartment, and I found a dog, and I wanted to take this dog home with me so bad, and I almost tried to organise it, even to the extent where I was trying to find a new place to live so I could take care of this dog. But in the end, I decided I was on the road too long to really give it all the attention it needs. But this dog was a bomb sniffing dog, and it was you had never seen a better trained animal. Stop, this, sit, jump, whatever you wanted it to do, this dog did. It was been in the military its whole life, but it had found a bomb. And then it was like, and the bomb had gone off, right? He found a bomb that went off soon after it left the vicinity. It saw the big bang and all that stuff. And now this dog was like, I'm not doing that again. That's fucking sucks. Is that what we've been doing?
That's what we've been looking for.
Yeah, if you told me that the first time, I would have joined up with the cocaine blokes. They seem to be having a much better time than bomb.
So he had PTSD, sort of. He did that job.
Yeah, he couldn't do that job anymore, and so they were looking for someone to take care of him because he was just sort of.
That would have been an awesome dog for you to keep, even though that you were on the road, because you could have taken it everywhere you went. But let me just tell you this: one of the highest level responsibilities that you've taken when you realize I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. I'm thinking about moving to a bigger place for this dog, but I'm on the road, so I shouldn't. That is a high level responsibility, and I'm impressed. Most people don't care about all that stuff. I want this, I want it now, and they get it, and then all the stuff happens down the line. But that's pretty good that you did that.
However, that was a great dog. Of my wife.
Would have been worth keeping.
He was a good dog. He was a good. And I'm sure someone would have taken him because he was so well trained and everything. And my hope is that he probably went to a better home than I could have given him, really, with my lifestyle.
You were saying flight. You explained flight. Then you were doing the rest of them. Freeze, right?
Freeze when a dog is frozen. If you look at it on a spectrum, when a dog hears something, they kind of freeze for that moment. So that's the part where they freeze. If they see something that they want to get, they freeze. But the terrified ones, they shut down. They're just not there. That's the highest level of freeze. But just think of deer in a headlight type of thing. But tigers do the same thing. As soon as they're walking and they see some prey, they freeze for a second, and then they go into the next thing. So that's what they mean by freeze.
Okay. And what were the other ones? Fawn. It was flight.
Fawn.
Freeze.
A fight, of course, you know what fight is, but when a dog is fighting at the core, it's not like a fight over a bone. It's for life. But you'll see it. Sometimes the dogs fight in that moment so that they can fly away. So I would call that more of an evasion at that point. Requires a little physical contact.
Social behaviors of dogs. Ass sniffing, Jim says, is the top of the list.
Top of the list.
Yeah, drinking water.
Drinking water, big one.
That's not a social thing. That's more of instinctual. But yeah, we'll do it together. We'll break some bread and have a little river water. I think we're buds now. But social behaviors are things like smelling each other. I call it the yin and the yang. One dog's at the butt and the other dog's at the other butt, and they do this little circle. That would be sort of a handshake, a greeting. And is that what you're asking about, how they greet each other?
Well, we asked that question later, so that's the answer. How do dogs say hello?
Social behaviors.
You can jump ahead, yeah. So that's how they say hello or shake hands, by sniffing butts. And then, what are other social behaviors?
It's important they know each other at that point. But social behaviors, being in proximity of each other and just hanging out is always a great social action. They don't need to be playing to be social.
Yeah.
And what's their level of intelligence? I said 2.5, I believe.
Their emotional intelligence levels range between 2.5 and 3-year-old, if we're going to compare it to a human. So, nice. You got that. I was impressed with that one, but you got that off the pig, and that's impressive that you know about the pigs.
The pig's meant to have the intelligence of a 3-year-old, and it's meant to be slightly more intelligent than a dog. I work back.
You can train them like a dog for sure. One of my friends, colleagues, he's got one of those pigs in his facility. It's at his home.
Arnold Schwarzenegger has a big pig that just walks around his house now that he got because there's a myth about these little tiny pigs that they're going to stay this big. No, all pigs get massive.
Yeah.
There was like a big scam with the teacup pigs or whatever. And then people are like, it's fucking big now.
It's like the size of this table.
Yeah, pigs get massive.
And
huge.
How do dogs show submission and how do they show dominance?
When they show submission, it varies, but generally they want to be a little lower, maybe provide some extra space, but all the way submission would be on their back, rolling over and that's done so that the other dog can come over and smell everything and check you out, make sure that you belong here. Yeah, that's a generalized submissive
show the
behavior.
belly. Yeah.
In my experience, if you bring up a cat and a dog in the same house, they seem to get along. That's always has happened for me.
Especially if they're a puppy or a kitten and a puppy, that's always great. But taking a cat that's had experience in life and then put them with dogs, sometimes that doesn't work.
I've seen some things. Yeah. And how does dogs show dominance? Is it their teeth? That's what Jim said? Or?
Well, they'll show the teeth when they're being submissive, too. They even have a term called submissive grin. Some people have turned their dogs in. My dog wants to attack me, and it's literally, I'm so submissive and happy that we're seeing each other. I'm going to smile. And it's terrible for people to misunderstand that. But dominance will be more of taking the space and being higher. Elevation is a perceived elevation in status. So that's why you see dogs get on the back of a couch when someone arrives, that they just want to say, I'm either equal to you or above you.
And we've talked a little bit, kind of touched on what is good body language for a dog, what is poor body language for a dog, and humans and stuff. We've kind of touched on that, but is there anything else we should say about it, or you think we're good with that?
I think that if you're seeing a dog that's very rigid and slow moving next to you, that's a body language you do not want to see. But it's really more about the intent that they have, and that comes from their emotion that they're currently feeling. And if I get angry and you get angry, we're going to have different intentions. So you really want to look at feel the emotion and discover what this individual's life has been like for their intention. Some dogs will show you extremely dominant behavior, but will never bite you. Just haven't had that experience. Their intention is not to harm you. They just want you to know they believe they're higher status.
And are certain breeds of dogs harder to train? Jim say he called you they are going to say
Huskies are very difficult to train because they've got a lot of energy and a strong will of their own, but that doesn't mean they're dumb. They're very intelligent.
And have they still got a bit of wild dog in them as well?
The husky is the closest to the wolf out of all the dogs as far as the DNA goes. But the higher the energy, physical energy of a dog, leads towards the higher intelligence of a dog. It doesn't mean that a slow-moving dog isn't intelligent. It just doesn't care to show it much. So the dog you talked about with the tick, it sounds like he had a lot of energy and wanted, and you guys put a lot of engaged with him a lot, and so he bonded to you really, really well. And that intelligence that he had is driven by the energy that it comes with. So.
Why have you ever tried to train a dingo?
I haven't tried to train a dingo.
They just look like fucking dogs. I don't know why no one's given it a go. It's like
I love the shape of a dingo. Yeah. I love them.
Yeah, like they ate one baby.
And it's over.
No, I think you'll find there's other dogs who have eeaten a baby, in that history. Sure. They've eaten one baby and they get a bad rap, and the rest of the time they haven't eaten any babies. I've seen one. I've seen coyotes out in the wild, like just walking down my street in LA. Yeah, I don't. They're a bit cunty though, aren't they? You can always,
like coyotes?
No, well, coyotes are always. I can always hear them as I'm going to sleep, ripping an animal to bits.
They're celebrating. We have dinner.
Yeah. They're going for it. They're going for it, man.
So there is harder to train some than others. Yeah. Okay. Is it okay to have a dog off leash? Jim says he does not think so. He thinks that they should be on leashes.
I used a gun analogy. Yeah, is where we went.
Yeah, it's illegal to have the dog off leash, but nobody's going around and throwing anybody in jail. I think that everybody should have their dog on a leash. Even though I walk my dogs off leash, people should have their dogs on leash if they don't have an exceptional recall. I posted a video a couple weeks ago with a massive coyote came into the open field that my dogs were in, and my dogs started running toward them. I called them back. They came back, and then we followed down so I could get some footage of the coyote where it went. But if you can't call them back, don't even think about taking them off leash.
Yeah, you're special though. I saw that video. It's like no other. You just called them and they just turned around and came to you and stuff. Most people's dogs are running after that or a squirrel or something, And because I go to this park near my house and it says all dogs must be on leash, giant signs. And some of the dogs are well trained and like they don't have issues with it. But then another dog, this guy ran up on me one time with a dog. Arnie growled at him and he started going, "You got to yank on him and train him, whatever, do that." And I go, "Your dog just ran up on my dog." Like, the fuck is your problem?
I always keep him on a long line, so I'll like let him go and sniff, but at least I can control him if I need to get away from another dog.
I'm thinking of putting my youngest son on a leash. My first kid didn't get leashed. This one might need to be leashed for its own safety.
He's rowdy.
Yeah. Like you've seen those leashes, right? In the airport.
Might just run out into traffic or something. Like I can't. You can't risk it. I used to judge parents who had leashed children.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, you might have to leash this one.
We'll get you an electronic collar.
There you go.
I've already got that for you.
We'll e-collar train your son.
I've done the electric collar. Once on Opie and Anthony, I did that bloody.
Oh, you put it on?
Yeah, where you did things and people sparked you. It's not fun.
This is a part of our show, Lynn, called Dinner Party Facts. We ask our expert to give us some fact or interesting story or something about this subject that they can use to impress people. What do you got for us?
Okay. Dogs don't have a memory. And people get freaked out about that when I tell them that their dogs won't know who they are if I came over to the house and took them away. No, my dog knows. My dog knows. He remembers. They have what's called an associative memory. So everything that they remember has a feeling to it, and it has to be present for them to access it. So if I came over to your house and I grabbed your dog and put it in the car and drove away, maybe 10 minutes, it's wondering where you are. But after that, all it wants to know is, how do I fit in with you? And it doesn't have a clue you've ever existed, doesn't ever think about you, doesn't worry about you at all. But if I come back 6 months later and I'm driving through the area and I roll the window down and he's like, "This seems familiar," and I pull into your driveway, that gate that you have there, right? That's very exact. The dog will go, "Hey," and then you pop out of the front door and he's like, "Hey, how are you?" And at that moment, he knows everything about you. The file opens. Now, to prove that, to show how different it is when people say, "No, my dog knows, he remembers." If I move into your house and kick you out, your dog will mourn. Like your dog with that died with the tick. The dog, everything in the house is associated to that dog or to you. And so it takes 6 months maybe before the dog ever stops thinking about you, because everything in the house is associated to you. It's a quirky thing. And I've had clients when I rehabilitate their dogs and I forget to tell them that your dog may not recognize you out of the gate. He's got to smell you or hear your voice, and then it will recognize. I bring the dog out and it doesn't recognize the client, and they say, "Oh my God, my dog forgot me." I'm like, "Oh, I forgot to tell you." So I have to take the dog back in and explain all that, and then bring the dog back out. It's a quirky little thing, but it's
Wait,
true.
so that simultaneously made me feel a lot less. I was just gone for 11 days, and I felt really guilty the whole time. So that made me feel less guilty. Also broke my heart a little bit. But for my trip next month, I was actually thinking about having a dog sitter stay at my house. So you're saying that that's probably a bad idea because he'll miss me if I'm gone.
Well, he may miss you, but everything around there is associated to you. So he could find comfort in those things that remind him of you. Yeah. But it's also a good idea if you take him to a place, and if you've done it before, the association is still there. Hey, all my friends are here. Mm-hmm. My human friend, everything. And I'll see you later, Mom. It's like dropping kids off to kindergarten after the third or fourth time. They don't want to be around Mom or Dad. Yeah. So that can be a good thing to take them someplace to experience other dogs and other things without you. And then you're the hero when you walk in and you go, "Hey, where's my puppy?" Right. And they,
yeah, my regular dog sitter is out of town next month, so it sucks. So I'm like trying to find somebody new, and I was like, "Oh, I'll have somebody come to my house," and now I'm like, "Fuck."
It doesn't matter. They don't remember you.
Yeah. But then you got to deal with somebody coming to your house and going through your drawers, while you're not there. Wow. I don't like that.
Kelly likes that.
I'm not worried about it.
Well, Lynn, thanks for being on the podcast, brother.
Real quick, let me just repeat
Thank you for having me.
And if you need help with your dog and you want to talk to Lynn or hire him or something like that, go to his website, Lynn Bokei. It's LINNBOYKE.com. He's really great. If you go on Instagram at Lynn Bokei, you can see his videos and YouTube and stuff. And he's got a podcast, the Dog Psychology Podcast. He's awesome. He's great. Just start watching some of the videos. You'll see. It's very impressive. Yeah, there you go. Thanks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being on the podcast, Lynn. If you're ever at a party and someone comes up to you and says, "Oh, my dog remembers me," go, "Well, I don't know about that." Good night, Australia. And goodbye, Kelly. We love you.
Goodbye,
We're gonna miss you. Bye bye.
Miss you guys.